All right there. Hey guys, I'm not usually a guy that makes YouTube videos for random people, but I have not seen this information anywhere else on the internet. And the Sumosys Facebook community, which I'm a part of, this question comes up a lot. Um, so there's just a couple. This is about the, like I say, it's about the Sumosys, and I think it's a great system. It's super cool. It works great out of the box, but there's a couple things here that I think people should know about just to help improve the performance and just sort of make the experience better. Um, anyway, so the main issue that some people are having is that some games don't work properly, or they're glitchy, or they're slow, or they're laggy, or whatever. So like I say, I haven't seen this information anywhere else. So I guess I'm going to show you guys what I do to help sort of to get the best performance, especially out of some of these arcade games. All right. So here we're in the MAME submenu here, and I noticed that some of these arcade games, especially the midway ones, like Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam and whatnot, they do work, most of them just out of the box, but some of them have like their performance issues. Like you'll get little sound glitches, or you'll get glitchy, sort of laggy gameplay, and there's just it's just imperfect in some ways, you know. But the great thing about the Sumosys is that there's actually an option to go in and actually alter some of these parameters to help improve the performance. So anyway, so I guess when you're in the sub menu, in the game menu here, what you do is you hit the select button over the game. So if you're having a game that's giving you issues, basically you go to the game, you hit select, and it pulls up this sub menu here. All right. So what you do is then you go to edit this game's metadata. You go into that. And if you look right here, these are the two options that are important here. So it's the emulator option and the core option, all right? So because all these arcade games have a wide variety, like when they came out, they had a wide variety of hardware that they came out on. There's actually a bunch of different sort of emulator software to sort of, so that, for all the different types of games, because we're talking about games that came out from the 1980s all the way up to like the mid-90s. So for certain games, like the midway games, like NBA Jam, for example, out of the box, yeah, you get like weird performance issues, and the reason is that if you go, I believe the default one is MAME 2010 on the core. This is like the default one, I believe, but what you want is like you want to experiment with the different ones. If you're getting performance issues, you want to experiment just like this, So I know for a fact that I believe it's MAME 78 is the one that works the best, even though out of the box it's MAME 2010. So you'll probably want MAME 78. Or sorry, iMAME for all. Sorry, yeah, it's iMAME for all is the best one. So iMAME for all is the one you want for NBA Jam Tournament Edition. And I just figured that out through trial and error. You can also change the emulator software here too, like. Well, for this one, there's only the one, but other games will have multiple emulator softwares that you can try for getting performance issues. So, like for example, so if we go to the default one, MAME 2010, save changes, yeah, and now if you try and go into it and try and play it, it'll just sort of hang at this black screen here, and it'll kick me back out here. So that's what happens right out of the box, all right? So if you are like, what you want to do is, like I say, you go in, press select, edit the game metadata, go to the core, and change it to one of these other ones. I know just because I've experimented already that iMAME for all is the best one. So iMAME for all, save it, back out, now watch. Bam, worked. Cool. All right, so we can back out of that. And I guess the next sort of tip or whatever, I guess you can call it that, is basically there's some, like with emulation software, we have something what's called input lag, and that has to basically deal with when you press a button in your controller, there's a very slightly delayed response in the actual, the action. So this is inherent in all emulation software, but the cool thing is that there's actually an option within the Sumosys and within the game menu to sort of deal with latency. So I'll just go into this one. This is one of my favorites, Marvel Superheroes. All these Capcom fighting games, Mario games, that the games that require specific timing, like this little bit of input lag that emulation software has, that's a big deal. It's important because it makes the game feel clunky and kind of feel sort of unresponsive. I remember even when I started playing this game again, like these fighting games again, when I first got the system, I was trying to do my combos and I just found it was like, did I just like suck at this? Like, did I get old and just suck at this now? But I figured it out that it's actually, there's this thing called input lag, and it's like all emulation software has it. It's not just the Sumosys, it's every emulator has this, The cool thing is, though, is that we actually have an option to deal with this, all right? So to deal with latency or input lag, basically what you want to do is you want to hit the select and B button at the same time within the game, like this, and it pulls up this menu right here, all right? So then what you go down and you see right here, there's a option for latency, all right? And this is awesome because this is basically designed specifically to basically combat input lag, all right? So you go into latency. There's kind of these various options here, but the main one you want to look at here is run ahead to reduce latency. Now this is a very cool like software trick that some of the newer emulators do, where they basically run the whole game ahead and then recombine it with your controller input, if I understand it correctly, to basically reduce the latency, so that you basically have no input lag. So what you want to do is you want to turn this on and number of frames to run ahead. I recommend 1 to 2. Maybe on some like of the less graphically intense games like Nintendo, you can get away with 3, but 2 to me feels great. Number of frames to run ahead, and this basically massively tightens up the control, and it just makes the game so much better. Like you can start doing your combos and whatnot. But yeah, thanks guys. Like I say, I just made it just because I haven't seen this information anywhere. I know it's a bit kind of long-winded. I kind of rambled a bit, but I just hope this stuff can help some people out there because I think the Sumosys is awesome, and I just think it's great that even with the minor imperfections, with having 10,000 different games on it, there's options to sort of deal with the minor problems that there are with the system. So, all right, guys, thanks.